everyone. Thank you all for coming this morning and being here today. It's my great pleasure to welcome our National Commodore Club members and donors. It's wonderful to welcome so many of our Mortensen and Populous friends and all of our subcontractors and our partners here on campus who have helped make this project a reality. This is a milestone in our Vandy United process, and it's one we're very proud of. So thanks again for being here for this topping out ceremony. In a moment, after hearing from three people who helped make today possible, we'll complete the framework for the new right field facility by lifting one of the final beams into place. Like Vandy United and the Hawkins Field project itself, this doesn't mean we're done. As we like to say, the best is yet to come. And we'll need all we can get to that finish line that's apparently right over that right center field wall. But today's an opportunity to celebrate progress. It's an opportunity to show our appreciation for the people doing the heavy lifting, literally and figuratively. And to bring this audacious vision to life, it's an opportunity for us to say thank you. With that, let me get to the heart of our order and welcome three people who scarcely need any introduction. The first is a man who knows what it takes to turn a bold vision into tangible investment. John Lutz is responsible for leading efforts to build philanthropic support for the university's mission and enhancing engagement with Vanderbilt's more than 136,000 alumni across the globe. In more than a decade, I'm dating you, John, he's done that at an all-American level. To borrow from our surroundings, most importantly, spearheaded the historic Dare to Grow campaign, which has rocketed past our initial $3.2 billion goal. Please join me in welcoming Vice Chancellor for Development and Alumni Relations, John Lutz.
Well, that certainly was kind. And by the way, we have about 2 weeks left in the campaign. This has been going on for years. Our objective initially was going to be $2.5 billion. We launched a little late because of COVID, so we adjusted that to $3.2 billion. We hit that in October over a year ago. We hit 3.5 towards the end of last year. And then the question might be, if you can make it to 3.5, where could you go beyond that? And so we are very busy. If any of you, we'll pass a hat in a little bit, but we intend, if we get a few things to go right, to have a really spectacular result, all of which has two purposes. One, it's the fuel that funds these kinds of things, because all of you who are donors, and thank you all for being here, especially members of the National Commodore Club, this stuff doesn't happen without that direct support. But it also contributes to this overall sense of momentum all across Vandy, because we are the hottest school in the country everywhere I go. And it's all these pieces together. It's a continued academic excellence that's manifested in scholarships and so forth. Every kid at a top high school in this country now has Vanderbilt very much in their consideration. And then the athletics piece, which is both valuable in its own right and also valuable because it provides lifestyle for everyone who's here. A lot of these kids are thrilled now to be. You've noticed the student sections are growing. And by the way, I love the use of a crane. I was a little worried after the scoreboard on the crane over at football. We weren't going to get the cranes involved, but it's good to see that we're going to do that. So I want to reiterate on Mark's point. I want to thank the members of the National Commodore Club. It is your direct support that makes all these things happen, and you deserve a big round of applause. I'd like to thank Candace and our mutual boss, Daniel Dearmeyer. I wouldn't want to get back to him that we didn't mention him. Daniel is an avid and relentless supporter of athletics. Not every chancellor is, not every Vanderbilt chancellor has been. And so we want to acknowledge him. Now, and then the work has to get done. And so on the design side and the architecture side, making the vision something that is going to be so inspiring, I want to thank the team from Populous. I don't know who I'm thanking. Somebody's here. Raise your hand. There's some Populous people right there. Your team has done the work on some of the most beautiful stadiums, including some that are in play right now with World Cup. Everybody knows you guys are the best, and it's fantastic to be part of the family with you. And finally, the folks doing the real work, Mortensen and all the subs. I was looking for Mortensen vests today. I didn't see any, but I've seen 15 different ones. So the guys that are doing the work deserve the round of applause as well. Okay, so with all that money we're raising, you might say, well, where's athletics fit in there? Well, it started with a modest bet. We called it Vandy United, that we might want to raise $300 million, because that could allow us to really make a dent in the athletes' experience, in the fans' experience, and in the facilities, because all those things matter. And the good news is we achieved that rather more quickly than we thought. We've gone well past that 300 to a number around 375 or so. And we are right now in the process of sort of re-upping. As our chancellor says a lot, proud but not satisfied. There's more we can do. But look at the results already. Now, baseball is probably our longest running and most successful program. Everybody here knows all about that. But football just had a historic season, a 10-win season. Soccer reached the Elite Eight after having made it to the Sweet 16 the year prior, their first time in the 16. This year they made it to the Elite Eight. Men's golf has back-to-back SEC championships. Bowling won its third NCAA title. Track and field had numerous individual champions. And the basketball programs, both men's and women, you, I'm sure, paid attention to that, both had runs into the tournament. And, very happily, all of our various all-star guards are returning. And so we can be very sanguine about the opportunities we have there. It's very much something now where, rather than baseball being a complete outlier, baseball's success is inspired, and we have the tide rising and all the sports are rising with it. Not to mention the coaching excellence. Coach Corbin, who you hear from in a bit, has won numerous awards, but we had two Coach of the Year honors this year, Clark Lee for football and Shea Ralph for women's basketball. And while she'll be up here in a second, we may have to get something to keep her head upright. Candace Lee, I don't even know, she was named Athletic Director of the Year again yesterday. How many people have decided that's the right title? Many. Many have decided. And it's true. And I can also comment from another perspective among all the vice chancellors. A lot of times the AD is part of the senior team, but is sort of off in a bubble, off on an island, off doing their own thing. And as a triple door and someone who is deeply committed to Vanderbilt's broad success, that is not how Candace does it. She is completely integrated, as interested in all the elements of Vanderbilt's success as she is in athletics. And of course, that persuades all the rest of us to feel the same way. So thank you, Candace. You're a fabulous teammate. Okay, so what's next? Well, we've re-upped. We're going to raise $300 million more over the next few years. And at some level, we're just doubling down on what we've already done, and we're going to set the bar even higher. And baseball will be a very important beneficiary of that. As you know, this team has been successful for many, many years with World Series appearances starting in 2011, first national title in 2014, a couple of those now, 5 SEC tournament titles. And perhaps as importantly, you might say, well, but what happens after? Well, 2 things happen. We've had 158 Major League Baseball draft picks, which is an extraordinary record. That's the most, including multiple number 1 overall picks. And just as importantly, the broad contributions of Vandy boys after their time here is manifest in business, in education, in coaching, across a very broad array of occupations. I see alums all over the country for all kinds of reasons, and the thing that continues to just delight me is when you meet a Vandy boy, yeah, they might have played in the minors for 2 or 3 years, but what are they doing now? Well, they're running a company. I was with someone 2 or 3 weeks ago. I said, well, that's incredible. So you've got this. He goes, well, actually, I got 2. I got 2 things I'm running in 2 industries. And so the possibilities for which they are prepared here under Coach Corbin's tutelage are extraordinary and very Vandy. It's very Vandy to have success on so many dimensions at one time. I also, as I wind down, want to say that I had a conversation with a family the other day who had a member of their family as part of the program here, and this individual went to great lengths. After talking about the influence and impact that Coach Corbin had, then transitioned to the incredible family feeling that they got from the program, and in particular, the impact that one Maggie Corbin had had on their child. And so, Maggie, thank you for what you do. So with that, I'm going to stop so that Mark can get back up here and tell us what's going to happen next. Thank you all for all that you do for Vanderbilt. It's crucially important, and it's fabulous to be in a situation like this today where we can see that impact. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for all you do for Vanderbilt, for us, and hopefully you get the great feels from this day, too. There's a lot that goes into this, and John's a big, big part of it. Our next speaker understands that competing for championships on the court can spark a lifelong journey of pioneering leadership and service on and off the court, because she's lived that. She lives it every day. As an SEC champion, a member of our Vanderbilt women's basketball team, the Triple Door, she loves it. She loves this introduction, by the way. Earned her undergraduate, her master's, and her PhD degrees from Vanderbilt's Peabody College of Education and Human Development. She's a very proud product of the Vanderbilt experience, and the one that we're trying to provide for today's student athletes. And she continues to serve these student athletes across more than, let this sink in, 3 decades. I love making her feel old. An inspirational and caring leader and trailblazing. Listen, you got to insert some humor into Candace's intros because, as John mentioned, there are numerous accolades that come with what she has done here, and that we are very proud of. In the last month, she was recognized as the 2026 Sports Business Journal Athletic Director of the Year. There are several of those that are sort of recognized and given out throughout the year, but that's the big boy, the granddaddy of them all, and it was something that we're all very proud of her for. Please join me in welcoming Vice Chancellor for Athletics and University Affairs and Athletic Director Candace Story-Lee.
Thank you, Mark. And thanks to all of you for being here. Any excuse to be in Hawkins Field is a good excuse, and a topping out ceremony is a wonderfully fitting way to celebrate what we're building together, here and across all of Vanderbilt athletics. And I was trying to think how many of these beams we've signed, and I'm starting to lose track, so that's a very good problem to have. In addition to all of our campus partners, and let me say, you're going to hear us be a bit redundant in our thanks, but the truth is we really can't say thank you enough, so thank you for bearing with us. In addition to all of our campus partners like John, who is awesome, I'd like to extend a special welcome to our teammates from Mortensen and Populous once again, who continue to help us reimagine our footprint throughout the Frist Athletics Village. At Vanderbilt, we believe in bringing together the best and the brightest to make each other better. And we're stronger for having you on our team. I hope you all consider yourselves a part of Commodore Nation. If you need ticket information, you come see me. We are always on sale. And to all of you who have stepped up to support Vandy United and our Hawkinsville project in such meaningful ways, saying thank you hardly seems enough. We're here because of the members of the National Commodore Club, and we are grateful. You can build a baseball diamond pretty much anywhere, but it takes more than chalk lines and a fence to make that ballpark part of the community. At Vanderbilt, Hawkins Field is a part of who we are. It reflects our best collaborative traditions and boldest championship ambitions. Coach Tim Corbin and generations of Vandy boys made it more than a baseball field, and you made it more than a baseball field. When it comes to Vanderbilt baseball, of course, we're proud that what happens at Hawkins Field doesn't just stay at Hawkins Field. It's hard to walk into any Major League Baseball stadium without running into someone whose path Coach Corbin helped shape. When the New York Yankees recently called up Spencer Jones, he became the 37th former Door to go from playing for Coach Corbin at Hawkins to the big leagues. This year, Vanderbilt is tied for the third most alumni on MLB active rosters. And you'll find quite a few of those guys right here during the off-season, gathering in our alumni locker room, hitting in the cages, and still gleaning as much wisdom as possible from Tim and Maggie. That's what Hawkins Field has always been about, making history and shaping futures. That's the blueprint for everything good you see happening across Vanderbilt athletics. And there is more excitement and energy than ever before across our 17 varsity sports, but also across our university, thanks to the incredible leadership of our chancellor, Daniel Dearmeyer. Under Coach Corbin, the Vandy boys showed us that we should settle for nothing less than setting the standard. They showed us that if we invest in each of our programs in a way that gives our student athletes and coaches the resources they need to compete, we can win championships while also holding fast to our values. Be proud. Be Vanderbilt. Be champions. That's the Hawkins Field blueprint. It's why this ballpark fills up every spring. It's why our community comes together here. We recognize our ideals being reflected back at us, and we appreciate excellence earned on our terms. We should always support that. We will always support that, starting with this remarkable facility that's starting to take shape. It's the pitching lab that utilizes the latest technology to help the next generation of Vanderbilt aces reach their full potential. Its new amenities, expanded seating, and unmatched hospitality experiences that transform a trip to the ballpark into a lifelong memory for our supporters. Most of all, it's the commitment to honor our past by always daring to grow. Together, with your unwavering support, and with Mortensen and Populous bringing it to life, Hawkins Field will always be a place where history happens and futures take shape. Thank you very much, and anchor down.
Thanks, Candace. Not sure it's smart to go to the bullpen after she speaks, but I think she and I will both agree that we've got the best closer that we could have for this program today, and Tim Corbin. There's no doubt that the national championships, the All-Americans, the pro guys, the number of successful alumni speak for themselves. But more than that, Tim and Maggie are a part of what makes Vanderbilt so unique, what makes us one of one. His passion for teaching and commitment to helping young men grow on and off the field has transformed the lives of all those who've worn this uniform. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say how much he's meant to me and so many other people who love his program. It's my great pleasure to introduce the man who reimagined what's possible at Hawkins Field for Vanderbilt Baseball, long before we put any shovels in the ground. Please join me in welcoming our coach, Tim Corbin.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I think first thing, when Candace gets up here and she starts smiling, it brings back something that my wife says to me every time we play. She goes, "Tim, you need to smile more." Because when you see Candace, there's just like a glow around her, and that's kind of her personality that is very true to her, and she passes it along to our department and everyone that's around her. 2021, when she was hired, we spoke quite a bit on the phone, and she said, she gave me a call. It was a Sunday morning, and she said, "Coach, do you have a minute?" And if Candace asked for a minute, you know it's going to be more than a minute, but it's going to be a good minute, and you're going to feel really good when you get off the phone. But she was basically telling me that the school was going to hire Daniel Dearmeyer as the president. And when Candace hesitates, and Angie can certainly understand what I'm saying here, when she hesitates, she's about to say something important. She said, "Coach, let me tell you something. You're going to love this person. She goes, things are going to change. So what's synonymous with change when you start thinking about the end zones, you start looking at the basketball facility, you start thinking about tennis, and then you start looking at this, it's leadership. And it's leadership of Daniel, and it's leadership of Candace, and then everyone who surrounds them. In just a short amount of time, we've seen these facilities take off to where people like Elliot Jones and people that I'm looking at here that have been Vanderbilt people for a long period of time didn't think maybe this was possible, and it certainly is. Also in 2021, almost to this date, after we beat Stanford in a walk-off, which Spencer Jones scored to make it 6-5, we met with Populous the next day. And we met with Populous on the next day on what this facility could potentially look like. And my thoughts to them was simple. And it was, we don't want this to look like any other ballpark in our conference, because there are a lot of nice ballparks in our conference, but a lot of them look the same. And we didn't want this one to look the same. And my thoughts were, if you see the Skirmerhorn, we almost want this to look like a theater. So when people see, they come in, they look at it, they're a part of it, they go, this is different. And what we want people to think is, no, it may be different, but this is Vanderbilt. This is Nashville. And what you're about to see here in the next year is an extraordinary undertaking by a lot of different people, a lot of people who have chosen to give to this. And I don't know if your dad, Bill, could even imagine this when they were cutting the ribbon in 2002, when you were still playing basketball, when Jimmy Miller and Elliot Jones and Tommy Powell were on the field, and they were opening the stadium to Hawkins Field. And now 7 renovations later, we have a facility in left field. We have a facility down the third baseline, and now we've got a facility in right field that's going to be incredible. All I can say is, you know, in 25 years that I've been here, along with staff and people, a lot of things change. But what hasn't changed is the consistency of how we go about doing what we're doing. And that is for what we're most proud of. When I think of the intent or the intention to detail with groups like Populous and Mortensen, I was talking to Rich Vieira, and he was telling me about, he goes, Coach, you'd be very proud of our workers. They're here this morning at 4 a.m. trying to do some things that won't interfere with campus activity once the day gets going. I can tell you, since this has started, now that the structure is going up, they're workaholics. I feel like I want to recruit some of them right now and play. But please don't charge me the cost that it's going to cost some of the guys we go into the portal for. We just want to bring you on and let you play. But nonetheless, this is a extraordinary undertaking, and we're very appreciative. Maggie and I can speak for her, are very proud to be part of this university for so many years. And be an extension of it, and that's really what it is. There's a lot of good programs in this university, and I'm not talking about athletics, programs. All we've ever wanted to do is just be the best possible program for this university, not necessarily separate ourselves, but just so that the university can look at it and say, that program right there, they do things well, they do it right, they're consistent, we're very proud of what they do. I want to thank Mortensen, Populous, our administration, John, Mark, Commodore Club, Hannah, our daughter, for helping put this together. This is such a nice undertaking, such a nice event, but it's an appreciation to everyone that's sitting in front of me for everything that you've cared about for these kids, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, and helped keep this motor going for such a long period of time. I just got back from Omaha. I was there for meetings, and obviously when I go to Omaha this time of year and you don't have your team, it's a very lonely place to be, even though you're in the midst of a lot of other people. But I'm there, usually I go off by myself and just sit there and go, okay, we're going to get back here again. We're going to get back here again. Because when Will Cooper was playing here in 2014, you're on that grass during that moment. You're thinking to yourself, will I ever get back here again with a team? Well, like Walker Grisanti in 2019, when we won it, we'll be back there again at some point in time. This certainly will help us move in that direction. So I want to thank you all for being here. Thanks for what you're doing for our program. Thanks for what you're doing for the university. Fellas, thanks for all your work. I appreciate everything that you're doing to make this go, and Populous, thank you as well. Appreciate it.
All right, last thing. This is the interactive part of the program. Y'all have to get up and make your way over here to the beam. We're going to take a big group photo. Nobody can run. We can see you if you run. So everybody come be a part of this. Now, after you can make your way, start making your way. Once we take this photo, then we're going to move out of the way, and the beam, tell me if I'm wrong in this, but the beam is going to be raised, and we can all watch that take place, which should be really cool. So if everybody will come and join me, we'll take this photo. I've got, like I said, the full beam in it, plus about 2 feet on each side of it. For back row people. Yeah. All right. Everybody look at me. We're going to take a bunch of photos. So, everybody smile. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody view you. All right. Looks good. Thank y'all.
Thank you.